After starting out the season with a losing record, the Georgia State Lady Panthers serve up a couple W's at the GSU Invitational. After a record-breaking season, Georgia State's two seniors get to ride off into the sunset with the Sun Belt Championship wrapped around their waist. Even though they will miss hanging out with their friends and their teammates, they'll never forget what they left hanging right here in the Georgia State Sports Arena. Right here at the GSU complex, Atlanta rivals Kennesaw State travel on down the road to visit the Panthers for the first time this season. Media Day is underway here at Georgia State Sports Arena as we meet with a couple of new faces and a couple old faces and find out what's the big picture for this season coming up. With nearly a perfect record, Georgia State's entire season would come down to this final shot right here at the free throw line. Tonight, the Panthers proved that saying to be true. The third time's a charm. It only took 3 games, but they finally get a first win in this beautiful new home of theirs. My father had sayings about ifs. He says, if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his butt every time he jumped. Now, I have no clue what it means, but I think it means if Georgia State doesn't slow this guy down, they can be in for a long day. I know you say you're the oldest that's still playing. Who's the best athlete?
No, I'm still the best player, yeah.
Better than your father?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely better than my dad.
Even though the rain did stop, the Panthers still couldn't weather the storm. Just moments ago, right here, rivals Georgia Southern. So for the moment, they're popping champagne, baby. And you know who else is popping champagne? How about the new head coach of GSU men's tennis team? The atmosphere was great. Even, the first kickoff of the game, the returner gets nudged out of bounds and the crowd explodes as if Ray Lewis just takes a guy out. So their defense played well, but they were just on the field way too long. It's kind of like you playing spades. You got joker, deuce, a couple face cards, but your partner doesn't have anything. Georgia State's softball team swings for the fence on and off the field. After capping off their 10th straight 30-win season, Georgia State is far from home but always repping. The Panthers opened up the MGM Grand main event tournament with a blowout win over Rice. What's the first thing you think of when you hear State versus Southern?
State winning.
What does this rivalry mean to you?
Nothing. You know what I mean? Who cares about Southern?
This rivalry dates back to the 1980s when both teams participated in the Atlantic Sun Conference. Since the rivalry began, the two teams have faced off 51 times with Southern leading the series 35-18. But ever since the Eagles joined the Sun Belt Conference, the Panthers have a commanding lead on the series.
I think what you expect, the teams are going to play hard. I think it's going to be, really loud at our place. I know when we go down to Statesboro, it's extremely loud, but when it comes in here, our students and our fans, they get after it. And so, and then people know when they come in this building, they usually leave here with a loss.
When I first got here, I think they described it as modern day hate. I'm into rivalries and stuff like that, so, I was all for it. Ever since my freshman year, it's been a sold-out game.
They can expect to lose.
We kind of became a real GSU, and they're just GS. So I feel like we won that battle.
We're coming out here to win.
Georgia Southern has lost 8 straight times in the GSU Sports Arena, but they'll be relying on their top 5 conference scorer, Tukey Brown, to end that streak.
Tukey, he's a great player. He can go out this dribble, he can shoot a lot. He can drive the ball, he's actually very athletic. And Ike Smith, he's the same way. Since it's a rivalry game, we're going to have to lock him up.
The real tension stems between these two schools from the fact that they can both be abbreviated with the acronym GSU. Even though Georgia State became a university well before Georgia Southern and uses the acronym as an official logo, Southern still claims the right of being the real GSU. If the Panthers are going to continue their win streak, they may need to rely on DeMarcus Simons, who made the Lou Henson Award mid-season watch list. What's the message do you want to send to all your fan base that's coming out to support State this Saturday?
My message to them is, you guys be here Saturday.
Come out, we're going to get the dub.
We're going to have fun, we're going to put on a show.
Y'all can have fun in the crowd, you know what I mean?
The other team going to put on a show, so it'll be a good game, and we just want to keep it rolling.
And just, just come out and support.
Tip-off is tomorrow at 2 p.m. inside the GSU Sports Arena. Tune in to watch ESPN to make sure you don't miss a drink. For Primetime Sports, I'm Justin Dewitt. Right here at the GSU complex, Atlanta rivals Kennesaw State travel on down the road to visit the Panthers for the first time this season. Despite a great offensive start to the game, the Panthers dropped the ball in a comeback loss to the Owls, allowing 6 runs scored in the 4th and 7 more scored in the 7th inning.
When we play with no errors and we score runs and hit the ball and we pitch well in 3 parts, we usually win. In college baseball, you can do 2 of those parts well and still have a chance to win. Tonight, we really played good offensive baseball. 9 runs is a lot of runs to score, and that should be enough to win. But we didn't win tonight because we didn't have at least 2 or 3 parts going of our team.
That same day, sophomore pitcher Hunter Gaddis was named Sunbelt Pitcher of the Week for the 2nd time this season. Gaddis did start last weekend in their victory, but didn't throw a single pitch in their loss to Kennesaw State. Some fans wonder why.
It's so difficult because I think the common fan really just doesn't know what is happening. You can't overthrow people in the middle of the week because you have to be strong on the weekend in your conference games. Your conference games trumps these middle of the week games. I appreciate having him here every single day, and we really rely on him. And I said to him, what makes a number one guy is when it's not going well for your team, he stops it.
Georgia State travels to Troy for a series that will take place Thursday, Friday, and Saturday due to the Easter holiday. For Primetime Sports, I'm Justin Dewitt.